During World War II, a Japanese soldier and a British prisoner, chained together, are stranded on a mysterious island. But they're not alone. Something is watching. As sworn enemies turn into unlikely allies, they must face a terrifying creature, fueled by rage and grief. Will they survive, or be hunted by a mother monster seeking revenge? This isn't just a war story. It's a savage battle for survival. The film begins during World War II, when Japanese forces used to load Allied prisoners onto ships to use them for forced labor. These ships were called Hell ships because the prisoners were treated extremely badly, and sometimes Allied air forces would also attack these ships. In such attacks, more than 30,000 people had already died. The story starts in 1944, when the Arizon Maru ship is shown, carrying British prisoners on board. Among them, there is also a Japanese second lieutenant named Saito, who has been captured and labeled a traitor, and is now being presented to the chief. Along with him, there is a British prisoner named Bronson. Both of them are chained together with a single chain so that they are forced to fight each other for survival. Suddenly, there is an aerial attack from airplanes. Explosions erupt, chaos breaks out, and soldiers and prisoners start fighting among themselves. The ship begins to sink. The chief starts firing bullets, but Saito and Bronson jump off the ship. A huge explosion follows, and the entire ship is destroyed. After this, we see that Bronson and Saito, exhausted, swim and reach an island, and both collapse unconscious. The next morning, Saito regains consciousness first and pulls a pistol from near a soldier. There are also other dead soldiers present here who died during the explosion but were washed ashore to the island. As soon as Saito loads the pistol, Bronson wakes up from the sound, and a fight breaks out between the two. Since both their legs are bound by the same chain, fighting becomes difficult. Bronson gets the upper hand, so Saito grabs a nearby stone and strikes Bronson with it. But the fight still doesn't stop. Here it starts to feel as if something underwater is watching them secretly. While they continue fighting, they both fall into the water, where suddenly an unknown creature screams and attacks Bronson. Saito instinctively shoots at the creature, causing it to flee. But within a few moments, the creature manages to injure Bronson near his kidneys, to the extent that he starts bleeding. Who was this creature, and how dangerous could it be? Will Saito and Bronson survive? That will be revealed later. Now both of them stop fighting. They come out of the water and sit at a distance. Bronson is shocked, wondering what exactly attacked him since he couldn't see it clearly. Here Saito, frustrated, points the pistol at himself to end his life, but Bronson quickly grabs the pistol and stops him. Just as Saito had earlier saved Bronson, Bronson now saves Saito from dying. At this point, both of them become companions. Later, the two of them gather some supplies from the washed-out prisoners in crates. Bronson picks up a sharp object, collects water, and grabs some cigarette packs as well, because he is a smoker. Upon seeing the dead body of a soldier, Bronson becomes emotional, realizing that the boy was very innocent and had been tortured unjustly. They continue collecting items like shoes and other useful belongings. At night, Saito cooked some crabs and offered them to Bronson to eat. Bronson pretends to drop the food, perhaps because he didn't want to eat crab, but Saito once again gives him his portion. Out of hunger, Bronson begins eating and even compliments the food, saying it's so tasty that it reminded him of home. Bronson then decides that they should break their chains and become free. He starts hitting the chain with a tool. When it doesn't break, Saito guides him to hit it right on the edge so it will snap. Bronson follows his advice, and indeed, the chain breaks. Saito then cuts off Bronson's chain as well. After gaining their freedom, both of them are extremely happy, and by now, a sense of trust has developed between them. Suddenly, they hear some strange sounds. Upon checking, both of them see that two Japanese soldiers and one prisoner have also arrived on the island. Most likely, all three of them managed to survive using life jackets and reach the island. Since they are Japanese soldiers, Saito tells Bronson to hide. Bronson immediately runs into the jungle to hide. A short while later, the soldiers find Saito and start talking to him. During the conversation, they notice that the items around are scattered in a way that suggests there were two people here. They begin to grow suspicious. When they see the chain hook still attached to Saito's foot, they begin to suspect that he might be the same traitor from the ship. One soldier holds Saito at sword point, while the other goes into the jungle to look for his partner. In the jungle, Bronson is hiding, ready with his knife. But then he senses that the same sea monster's noise is coming from a nearby cave. Luckily, the second soldier, while searching for Bronson, walks toward that cave, where the actual sea monster is present. Suddenly, the sea monster attacks that soldier and kills him, even going as far as severing his head and tossing it away. When the first soldier sees his partner's decapitated head, he is shocked and terrified. But before he can do anything, Bronson appears from behind and attacks him, stabbing him with his knife and injuring him. Saito comes over to Bronson just as the monster emerges from the cave and attacks the wounded soldier, ripping his heart out. Then the monster proceeds to kill the remaining soldiers and the prisoner as well. Saito and Bronson start running for their lives. After eliminating everyone, the monster begins chasing Saito and Bronson. At one point, Bronson falls down, and the monster attacks him. But before the monster can use its strength and sharp claws to kill Bronson, Saito strikes the monster with his sword, injuring its hand. Taking advantage of the moment, both Saito and Bronson escape. However, shortly after, both of them slip and fall into a ravine, causing them to lose consciousness. When both of them regain consciousness in the morning, we see that they have been separated from each other. Saito has been stabbed by a wooden stick and is severely injured, while Bronson is hanging from the trunk of a tree. As he tries to get down, he slips and falls, attempting to hold on, but eventually lands in the water. They are both somewhere near a waterfall, though still far apart from each other. Saito finds a sword lying nearby, picks it up, and starts moving forward. Both of them begin wandering around aimlessly, trying to find a way forward, but they can't find any clear path. At one point, Bronson, exhausted, lies down and unknowingly ends up right next to a large crocodile. Fortunately, the crocodile doesn't see him and swims away into the water, so Bronson survives. Bronson crosses a stream and reaches a grassy field area, where he sees the same sea monster from a distance. The monster is standing on a large rock in the water, applying some kind of natural paste or mud to its wounds, possibly to heal itself. Suddenly, that large crocodile attacks the monster. The two engage in an underwater fight for a while. In the end, the monster uses its sharp claws to rip open the crocodile's mouth, tearing it into two pieces. Meanwhile, Saito finds a piece of yellow cloth with some numbers written on it, indicating that a plane had crashed on this island at some point, and there must be a crashed plane somewhere nearby. Just then, the sea monster lets out a loud scream, prompting both Bronson and Saito to start running from their respective locations. Moving forward, Saito finds a dead sea monster, and next to it the hanging body of a pilot who is holding a pistol in his hand. Seeing this, Saito realizes that the pilot must have shot the monster in the neck with the pistol and killed it. But in retaliation, the other monster must have killed the pilot. This reveals that there are actually two monsters on the island, one male and one female. The male monster is the one lying dead here, which means the one hunting and attacking humans is the female monster. Most likely, the female monster is killing humans as revenge for the death of her mate. That's why she is only killing them, not eating them. Saito then takes the pilot's gun. And, moving forward, eventually locates the crashed plane. On the other side, Bronson also finds broken parts of the plane in the jungle and begins searching for it. He even crafts a makeshift sword and moves ahead, eventually reaching the plane as well. Here, Bronson and Saito are finally reunited. Bronson is smoking when Saito takes the lighter from him and leads him into a cave, where there is a monster's egg with its offspring growing inside. Upon seeing this, Bronson says that they need to destroy the baby before it hatches, and also kill the monster. Meanwhile, the monster is in the jungle, heading toward the body of her dead mate. To trigger an explosion, Bronson and Saito work together to carry one of the plane's unexploded bombs into the cave. Bronson tries to pull the lever from the bomb to activate it, but the lever is stuck. Because of this, Bronson and Saito return to the plane, hoping to find an axe or some similar tool to break glass, something they could use to strike the lever. They also fire a flare gun for help and begin searching for the axe. However, seeing the flare, the monster comes straight to their location and attacks both of them. Saito uses his sword and Bronson his axe to injure the monster. Then both of them grab the axe and run back inside the cave, trying once again to activate the bomb. Just then, the monster attacks again, and this time severely injures Bronson. Saito quickly shoots the monster in the eye, blinding it in one eye. But still, the monster refuses to back down. At this point, Saito shoots the monster's egg, and the baby monster inside falls out and dies. Seeing this, the monster goes completely berserk. She lifts up her dead baby and looks at it. It's an emotional scene. Even though she's a monster, she's still a mother. And in this moment, she looks at her dead child with grief. Bronson yells at Sato, telling him to run away, but he himself doesn't run because he's already badly injured and knows he won't survive. He decides to stay inside the cave and try to activate the bomb by striking it with the axe. He gives his dog Tag to Saito, who takes it and runs out of the cave. Bronson then strikes the bomb with the axe to try and trigger it, but it doesn't work. He then remembers Saito's technique of hitting the chain from an angle, so he strikes the lever from a specific angle, and the bomb finally explodes. Bronson dies in the explosion, while Saito survives because he had gotten far enough from the blast. Seeing the explosion from a distance, Saito assumes the monster must have also been killed, but then he hears the monster scream, meaning it has somehow survived the blast. Saito runs to the seaside, and soon the monster reaches there as well. Saito positions a corpse in such a way that the monster gets confused and thinks it's him. As soon as the monster is distracted, Saito sneaks up and attacks it with his sword. The monster was already badly injured, and Saito overpowers her. He has a chance to kill her, but he doesn't. Instead, Saito walks to the seaside and tries to fire the flare gun, but the flares are all used up. Wounded himself, Saito collapses near the water and lies down. He then takes out Bronson's dog tag from his pocket and looks at it. Then the scene shifts to the USS Fletcher ship. Saito is alive, and his wounds have already been treated. The time is 1945, and World War II is almost over. The officers ask him about Bronson, because he has Bronson's dog tag. During this conversation, we find out why people were calling Saito a traitor. In reality, Saito had killed his senior lieutenant, because the officer was extremely cruel and treated his soldiers with merciless brutality. When asked about Bronson, Saito doesn't say much. He only replies, "Bronson was my friend." He then remembers the time he spent with Bronson and smokes a cigarette in his memory, just like Bronson used to. The officers ask Saito, "Is there anyone else on the island?" After thinking for a moment, he replies, "No." Saito looks out the window in the direction of the island, where the monster is still alive, injured but breathing. With this, the film comes to an end. In the end, Saito spared the monster's life by not telling anyone about her, because deep down, Saito was a kind-hearted man who understood the monster's pain. She was a creature who only became humanity's enemy in revenge for her partner's.
So, dear viewers, how did you like this recap? Do let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates. Thank you.